challenge for me. You know, coming back, you know, after a long layoff, after my last performance, horrible performance, you know, I lost my fight. There's a lot of questions, you know, so I want to be able to answer those questions with this kind of fight.
I like this fight. Mikey Garcia and Jessie Vargas, two of the real good guys in boxing. And it's interesting because Mikey Garcia's only fight at welterweight. He didn't win a single round against Spence Jr. Spence, of course, is one of the best fighters in the world. Jessie Vargas is also a solid fighter and a full-fledged welterweight at this point. So an interesting test for Mikey, especially to see where he's at 147.
Yeah, it's going to be a great night of boxing. It's very interesting that Mikey's going to stay at 147 and that Jessie's going to come back down to 147. I'm looking for a lot of fireworks.
Mike, we want to know, man, it's been a while since I talked to you. What did you learn from going 12 rounds with Errol, man? It was a tough fight for you.
I mean, you just don't win them. You can't win them all. That's it.
What's going on, people? It's your boy Young Kansu coming in with another video. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Also hit the like button on this video. It helps with the visibility and the popularity of the video. Mikey Garcia set to take on Jessie Vargas at the Star in Frisco, Texas, February 29th, live on DAZN. I can't wait for this fight. It's a good return fight for Mikey Garcia after a disappointing loss to Spence last March, where he wasn't very competitive, moving up 2 weight classes to challenge the boogeyman at welterweight. Mikey Garcia basically lost every round on the scorecards. Spence put on a clinic, and there's a lot of questions coming into this fight for Mikey Garcia. A lot of his fans feel like he let them down in his effort last year against Spence. Many believed he could pull it off. It was a tall feat. You got to give him credit for stepping up and fighting the strong Spence. But his game plan did not prevail. He bit off more than he can chew, and a lot of people are anxious to see how he's going to do in his return fight. I think this is a good fight for Garcia. He elects to sign with Matchroom Boxing and Eddie Hearn. Garcia electing to stay at welterweight. He feels he can still make waves at that division. Jessie Vargas is a game fighter who's been in there with the likes of Manny Pacquiao, Adrian Broner, Timothy Bradley Jr., and his only 2 losses are to Timothy Bradley and Manny Pacquiao. He took Adrian Broner to a draw, as well as Thomas Delorme. He's coming off a knockout win over Humberto Soto back in April of 2019. So he's on a bit of a layoff as well. Should make for an interesting fight. Jessie Vargas, obviously the larger, naturally larger fighter, standing at 5'11", and he's been acclimated to the weight class obviously a little bit longer than Mikey has. Mikey standing at 5'6", so Mikey's given up a definite height advantage. Obviously, you got to make Mikey the favorite, given his IQ, his savvy. He's obviously the favorite in this fight, but Jessie Vargas is a live dog who's a game fighter, who's been in there with top opposition. So he's going to be willing and ready for this fight. I think it'll be interesting to see how each game plan unfolds in the ring, given that Garcia's going to have to cut the distance and work on the inside and also use his jab against Jessie Vargas. Jessie Vargas doesn't have a bad jab himself. But big fight. I think the biggest narrative of the fight is what is Mikey Garcia going to do in his return fight. He's got a lot to prove. I think it's safe to acknowledge the fact that with high expectations of a guy like Mikey Garcia, it's safe to say he's got to put on a sensational performance against Jessie Vargas to really capture the imagination of fans and basically cultivate bigger fights down the road at 147, because he got shut out against Spence in his debut at welterweight. He's got to show that he can, you know, put on a performance that is worth facilitating a fight against the likes of a Manny Pacquiao, a Terrence Crawford, you know, at that division. There's so many fights for him at 147. He's got to put on a show against Jessie Vargas. A lot of expectations and questions for Mikey Garcia heading into this fight. I think that's the one thing we're going to continue to talk about leading up to this fight. Airshow Sports is going to cover it. We'll be live, media press row for the fight next month. Make sure you stay tuned for all the hottest content on Mikey Garcia versus Jessie Vargas. Appreciate your time today. Make sure you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's your boy Young, Aaron Cantu coming in. Stay tuned.